All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is your favorite dark sorcerer here, practicing necromancer and satanic warlock. Personally, I prefer just a warlock, but I am a practicing Satanist, so there you have it. Okay, satanic warlock. So, anyways, I was asked by an individual, and I'm going to bring up the individual's profile here. The name of this person is Jenny Boom Boom. Don't ask me about the name. I really don't know. But I kid you not, it's right there. Okay. So this individual came to me on my Facebook Messenger and asked a question. Any ideas how to remove a curse? Okay. First of all, how do you know if you are cursed? Okay. How do you know if somebody has either placed a curse on you or you performed a maledictus tutorum, meaning self made curse upon yourself? Well, let's take a look at a few things. Are you having constant bad luck? Things happening to you, like say your car's breaking down all the time, money or financial issues. Let's go with oh, let's say you got terminated from your job unexpectedly. No explanation why. Perhaps you got a ticket for something you didn't do. You may have, you tripped and broke your arm or your wrist or whatever. You know, constant bad luck and or let's say for an example, you know, right there alone are signs of baneful sorcery being placed upon you. Okay, that's basically black magic, a lot of negativity. But let's say for an example, nobody cursed you. Okay. This individual just comes straight forth and asks any ideas on how to remove a curse. No reason, no how should I say this? No history, backdrop of why they suspect that they've been cursed, or maybe they're coming to me because someone that they know has been cursed. Okay. So the question comes down is, why do you believe you're cursed? Or better yet, why do you think there's a curse on you? Okay. This is the first thing that I would ask. Okay. But because I was so tired and last night, I was so tired. I have worked, I don't know how many hours the last 3 days, you know. So it was interesting because when I saw this, I just wrote down a few things, things that they can try, you know. I said, there are Trebajos, okay, in Brugeria, practices such as the lemon Trebajo, for an example. The lemon Trebajo is basically a method that is used to determine if you are cursed, but it also determines whether negative energy has been placed on you. Okay, either by yourself, by your attitude, or by, say, for an example, a lot of occurrences that have transpired in your life. Okay, um, let's say, for an example, there's an old expression that states, for you to succeed, you must first get out of your own way and stop tripping yourself up. Okay, a wise woman once told me that to succeed or to get what I need or wanted, I must first learn to stop tripping myself up. Okay. And she was right. I hate saying that about the Zadians, but you know what? She was right in this case because after taking a good long look at my own life and my own needs, everything that I was going for, guess what? Things started turning around. And this was years ago. Okay. And it was interesting because this particular Trabajo really helps you determine. There's another one that deals with an egg. It's called the egg cleansing. And what this is you can either rub it down yourself or you can have somebody rub it all over you in what is called or I should say, as an aggressive manner. Okay, you don't want to break the egg. No, this is a fresh egg. Okay, brand new egg, never been used, and you want to rub it all over you. Okay, and all you need is a glass with water. Okay, because of the fact that when this occurs, after you're done, you want to pray over the water. Okay, you can, if you're into the African Caribbean traditions, you're probably using Catholic prayers to Santa, say the Virgin Mary or whoever. Okay, and this is one thing I've learned through the African Caribbean traditions is they use the imagery of their patrons, but in the Catholic mannerism of saints. Okay, so Mary would be Saint Death, or maybe one of the other female deities, and so forth and so forth. And in this case, you want to pray over the water. You want to bless that water. Okay. And then you take the egg, you crack it, and you drop the yolk in it. Okay. Now, the things that you want to look out for is blood in the water, maybe a dark, murky, um, how should I say this? I'm thinking of the term I want to use here. You want to look for this dark, murky, or even cloudy, you know, aspect of this yoke because of the fact that it will determine if there's negativity on you and or if a curse has been placed on you. Okay. And you can actually learn this type of thing from Santeria, both Palo Monte and Palo Mayumbi. You can learn it through Lacumba, um, Umbra, even Quimbanda, Brujeria, even. This isn't just limited to Brujeria practices. I mean, this is associated all through this. Okay, but you also see it within Hoodooism. Okay, so these two things would be two aspects of to determine whether you've been cursed or if it's just a lot of negativity upon you that's attached itself to you that that is basically hindering you in your life from spiritual and physical growth. Okay. One of the other aspects is called a Ojo de Venado. Okay. And this particular Trabajo can ward off negative and baneful magics, not just negativity in general. They call it mal ojo, okay, basically the evil eye. Okay, you ever have somebody that just stares at you, like say at your photo, or even if you're at a restaurant or at a store, and somebody's just staring at you. I'm talking full on, that I want to rip your fucking head off type look. Okay, basically what they're doing is called the evil eye. Okay, and it's very interesting to see this occur. Okay, but this particular Trabajo will help you to ward them off. Okay, and this is also known as the deer eye. The deer eye is actually a seed. Okay, and a lot of people don't know this. It's actually a seed. Now, the Impero of I'm going to see if I can pronounce this because it's the Portuguese variation of Santa Morte. It's San, Santa Ismo. Okay, and this is a particular Trabajo that is not only it's not a physical thing, it's not a, a covering like a blanket type aspect. This is more of you praying to Santa Morte. Okay. And like I said, this is more of the Portuguese aspect of Santa Morte practices. This particular prayer, you can word it any way you want to, but yeah, hell, you can even use any prayer that you want as long as you're respectful to her. She can ward off and protect you from such energies, such actions of baneful sorcery. Even if you get into, say, voodoo, for an example, there are many types of powders that will not only protect your home, but can be used for cleansings. Okay. Not just protection. And if you are cursed, if somebody did place a curse upon you or a the evil eye or whatever, it could be a jinx, a hex, a curse, whatever. And there are powders that are considered to be the ultimate hex breaking tool. Okay. Very, very potent. I mean, I believe there's several authors of voodoo that's actually spoken of it, but I believe the one that came out very, very clear with what it can, all the powders that are used in voodoo, and this is not Haitian voodoo, this is actually Creole voodoo, okay, meaning New Orleans, New World of voodoo, okay, is the complete book of witchcraft. Hello, the complete book of voodoo, okay, and this particular book doesn't just go into all the different aspects of voodoo, but it's got like quite a few different pages just on the powders themselves. Now, anybody can create a powder, anybody can go out and learn about plants and vegetables and trees and shrubs and both poisonous and healing and protective aspects. But you can even get out there and learn how to use things like lemons and say for an example water just to protect and cleanse. You know, Bruo Luis, for an example, who's lives in Mass, just I want to say down in Boston or just outside of Boston. He's down in Mass. That's all I know. I've been a long time follower of his for the last, I want to say 5 years, 6 years, maybe. I stumbled onto him when I first got interested in Brujeria, but I never got into it until last year. And it was interesting because he actually created a curse, okay, a Trabajo, just so that he could show you how to disarm them. Okay. When you think of a mojo bag, a hex bag, or a gris gris, okay, either way you look at it, these things are done for baneful magic. So I mean, even if you received one of these things, he actually shows you how to disarm it and how to handle it so you don't become contaminated by it again. Okay. More so, he even shows you how to um not only to be able to handle it, but to cleanse afterwards. And it's very, very interesting. I mean, I've learned a lot from this guy, you know. So I mean, even though I've learned, I've been a practitioner of Pedro Mayumbi and Santeria for over 10 years now, since I lived in Tucson. This stuff really does interest you, and it's good for you to learn because of the fact that when you grow, your knowledge is growing. Your grimoires are going to be growing. Okay. You're going to be doing experiments and you're going to be learning both offensive and defensive magics. Okay. This is sorcery that is very, very good. And this is why a warlock or a bokor is definitely to be feared because we practice 24/7. We study 24/7. We're always contemplating and thinking about how to expand our practices. Where can we go to learn and to grow these things? Okay. How do we perfect them within experimentations? Hans Holzer stated that a warlock was somebody who used sleight of hand tricks. Okay. He was somebody that mastered the type of magics that he could get his hands on. Okay. If we go into the Swedish hexa, we know that about 75 of these practitioner percent of these practitioners are actually women. The other 25 were men, warlocks. Okay. Now, why is it that the world came to fear warlocks and see it as a negative connotation? Okay, a negative notion, a negative atmospheric, being. Have you ever thought that somebody was trying to divide and conquer? Look at what the Catholics did to Russia. Prime example. Just saying. I mean, they definitely switched their techniques after failing miserably for over 100 years to defeat the Gaelic people. So, and that was just the Roman Empire that was backed up by the Vatican. So, when we look at the Warlock, even Bokor Leonard Imera came out in one of his videos and stated our shit is more powerful because we're constantly practicing, we're constantly experimenting, we're constantly perfecting our work. That should tell you something. It's not just me, it's not just Hans Holzer, it's not just Bokor Leonard Imera. Okay. You want to perfect your studies, your practices, then you got to delve into these atmospheric things. Okay. Now, why am I calling them atmospheric? Okay. I want you to think about something. Everything that lives breathes. Okay. Everything that lives breathes. Okay. Plants, trees, shrubs, even animals. Did you ever wonder where all these poisons came from that we have today? Did you ever wonder where all the medicines came from throughout the years? This is old school herbalism. This is old school alchemy. Today, they call them physics, or not physics, but chemistry. Not alchemy, but chemistry. Okay? Herbalism is now synthetic. Synthetic medications that you're paying for. Why would you want to spend $4,000 going to an ER for, say, oh, I don't know, let's go with gout? You have to go in, you get charged for the entry fee, you get charged for every doctor that sees you, you get charged for every x-ray or test that they have to perform on you. And then what do? They look at your symptoms and they go to a computer and type it in. You get charged for that, for their time. Why not just go into herbalism for yourself and find out how to get rid of gout or any other affliction? I mean, think about it. In ancient times, they would use those little slug-like worm thingies that you can find in a bay of a river or a swamp. Okay, these little things, these leeches, they placed on a wound or they placed near something that was septic because they fed on your blood. Later on, when these practices began being, say, for an example, enlightening, they switched it to, guess what? Lemons. Lemons don't just prevent gallbladder stones and kidney stones, but it's a blood purifier. Mint is a natural immune system booster. Okay. And if you want to get rid of gout, for an example, eat an apple, an orange. I would recommend apples more than anything because the acidic acid that is in an apple breaks down the tar. Okay. Um, Not tar. I guess you could call it tar, but it's more tartar, whatever you want to call it, that builds up on your joints, that causes that painful irritation. And the funny thing is, if you actually look at the symptoms of gout and an ingrown toenail, they're the same fucking things. All you need is an acidic acid. Why do you think people tell you to drink apple juice? And this is just some of the things that you can do if you master herbalism, if you study herbalism. Okay. You go in and you start, say, for an example, making powders, or you, let's say, for an example, you take coal, salt, and let's say sulfur. Do you know what that means? Do you know what that makes when you put those three together? Think of something that you use in your handgun, gunpowder. But how do you mix it? Learn alchemy. Okay. Now, how do you put together a grist bag or a mojo bag, a curse bag, a hex bag? Hmm? Or maybe even one of these trebajos, alchemy, herbalism. Did you know that you can use hemlock, which was widely used in 17th century for assassinations because it's tasteless, odorless? They used it for assassinations because you could put it in somebody's drink or on their food and they would never know it. You can use what is known as Oriolander, or even say Angel's Trumpet. Let's go the difference between regular hemlock and that of water hemlock. How about, say, for an example, yarrow or the various different Oriolanders that are out there? All of these things can be made to use and tonics if you're practicing necromancer. With the right dosage, it allows you to experience death, or it brings you close to death with the right remedy, with the right amount of measurements of various different things. It allows you to experience it, to associate, commune. Why do you think it's called reanimation or conjuration when doing spell work? How do you perfect spell work? By studying what is now known as geomancy or geometry today. All of this stuff was used for hundreds of thousands of years in ancient times. Why is it only today that it's considered to be illegal unless you have a degree in that field? Did you ever wonder why ministers, ordained ministers, can counsel you or perhaps pray over you? Look at the Shem priesthood out of ancient Egypt, or that of, say, mysticism, such as the Hashishin. Interesting how those organizations mastered all these techniques long before the church, long before Christianity, long before modern degrees were invented. Just saying. And I've noticed that we got some people here. Black Wolf Midnight Land, Slavic practice with egg is common among whisperers. Indeed, female witch. Yeah, exactly. Grigor, a dummy. Hello, welcome to the channel. Let's see. I'll think about it. I will think about that because that would be a good video to put forth. Maybe I'll do it later this week. I've got the next 4 days off from work, so maybe I'll do it. I think I may. Yeah, I guess I will do that. Kind of put something forth and kind of give you an example. Indeed. I mean, you look at European witchcraft for an example. I believe it was Nicholas Remy in his book, the what is it, Demonolatry, Chapter 1, that spoke on three powders. And it's interesting you mentioned curses here because a lot of times in ancient cultures, when you think of a curse, you're actually being poisoned. It was said that witches were found with three powders: black, which makes you, which basically a curse. It's a poison that basically is baneful. It's harmful. It will kill you. An amber colored powder that makes you sick, and a white powder that heals you. And it was said that these three powders were found on just about every witch that was noted to be a practitioner of witchcraft. Interesting how that goes, right? Let's see. Pharmaceutical. Uh huh. It's just modern day. You consider practitioners such as those of thanatology, for an example, or necrology, necrophage, for an example, find themselves working in morgues, funeral homes, graveyards, you know, all that fun stuff, but also psychiatry as well. The gypsies were known to be great healers. They used all kinds of remedies, not only to tell the future, past, and present, but also to divine with ancestors. Voodoo, on the other hand, utilizes the ancestors to learn the powders, just like working with your own ancestors. Same thing. Shamans live off the land, they know the land. Okay? You got to know this stuff. So it's not just the African Caribbean traditions, it's just about every tradition worldwide. I mean, I'm 25% Native on my dad's side. Okay. I've delved into Native American lore, their healing processes, shamanism, being a healer, all this stuff. For an example, here's a fun fact for you. You know, a lot of times you do something stupid and you end up getting burned by, say, let's say a hot plate, or say, for example, you accidentally burn yourself with, say, a sauce from a soup or that of whatever you're making. You know, you may even get burned from a candle by accident. Utilize ginger with a little bit of water right in the palm of your hand. Make it into a paste and rub it over the area that's inflicted. It's ironic how that takes away the burn and begins the healing process. So that's always fun. So delve into this stuff. All right. So I'm going to get off here because I got to go pick up some food for my better half, who's doing a double shift today. So I won't see her until tomorrow morning. Yeah, that's right. 2:30 p.m. to 6:30 a.m. That's a long ass, that's a long, long shift right there. And from what I understand, there's only two of them on shift today. So I'm also going to be picking her coworker up a sandwich as well. So not just myself. So yeah. So I'm going to get off here and head over and pick that stuff up for him. And I hope this has been educational. Hope it's been enlightening for you. I want to thank Gregor Adami and Black Wolf Midnight for joining me here today. And, or I should say this evening, because it is almost 6 o'clock p.m. where I'm at. It's been a very long day, even for me, working in a kitchen at a rust in the medical field. And so, like I said, enjoy, continue learning. If you like this channel, feel free to hit subscribe if you want to follow. So at least you'll get the notifications when I'm on. And enjoy. All right. Have a good night.